Time to get the North Carolina Education Lottery 200 underway with the trucks at Charlotte.
Oh, look at him bunching up there. Not a great start by Lane Riggs on the front row. You see him diving to the bottom there. And that bunched everything up back there. They're 3 wide, of course.
Corey LaJoie just about got pinched up into the wall with Chastain now going to the middle there. Honeycutt up to the top side. Here comes Corey Day off turn 4. Here's what happened on the start.
You can see the 34 just spins his tires. That messed up Ty Majeski in the yellow 88. And then look what happens behind them.
And so easy to do here, Michael, at Charlotte. Wheel spin on the outside line as we see Caden Honeycutt going to the outside already, making a great move. That appears that top line is working early in the race.
Well, one good thing, these guys got to watch the O'Reilly cars run, so they know there's a lot of grip from the bottom of the racetrack all the way to the top as Corey Day pushes up.
And look at Lane Riggs all the way to the bottom from 3rd to 1st off 4.
Weren't we just talking about Lane Riggs spinning the tires, and now he's leading the race already?
That's what you call a rebound in a hurry.
And he's got some help. That's Christian Eckes in the 91 trying to tow his way up the 2nd spot. Just behind him, the 1 of Brandon Jones as Day slots into 3rd.
If these guys are feeling these trucks out early on in this race, you could fool me as we see sideways there just a little bit.
Luke Baldwin had that thing get loose with him. There you see behind him is the 71, Shane Van Gisbergen. Those guys are at the back of the field right now.
Luke may have gotten up into the wall a little bit, trying to rebound from some heartbreak at Dover last time out as Riggs' lead is starting to get cut into by Christian Eckes as Luke brings the truck to pit road. Here's a look at what happened to the 2.
Oh, that's slight contact there.
And that's just a part of trying to figure out, as it looks like it just got loose on him, Michael. I didn't see anybody make contact there, but trying to figure out what your truck is going to do early on, and the lack of practice, the lack of time on track this weekend, and that right rear, a tough spot on these trucks to have damage on.
Well, in this track, we talk about the speed, Regan, and if you get sideways here, it's a handful. You're going that fast, you have so much grip. When it slips away from you, man, it just seems to go straight to the wall in a hurry.
Report is that Luke may have had a right rear tire go down as we check in on this battle for 4th. That's the pole sitter Day in the 7 inside of Brandon Jones. While Lane Riggs leads, his teammate Chandler Smith just behind in the 38 trying to crack the top 5 as he gets a good run off 4.
I like a truck that you can duck to the bottom. I think there's a little bit of, you get a little bit of gray area when you go up top. But if you've got a truck that you can dive right down to that white line on the bottom like you see right there Chandler Smith doing, I think that's the kind of truck that can win this race.
And over the long haul in particular, Michael, right, that bottom, if your truck is handling down there, really going to give you a little bit more options, whether you want to go up high a little bit or down to the bottom. You can get away from the traffic, get away from the air of the truck in front of you.
And there you see the 1 truck, Brandon Jones, right to the bottom. Makes quick work of Corey Day in that 7, and he brings along with him Chandler Smith in the 38.
We talked about a lot of trucks moving their way up through the field. Daniel Hemrick has gained 10 spots since the start of this race. Stenhouse, who started towards the back of the pack, up 9. And even Christian Eckes, who's running in 2nd, he's up from the 7th spot on this race as we check in on Stenhouse, who is still moving forward.
And we knew that Ricky would be fun to watch as this race started. The Nice trucks, of course, always so very good here at Charlotte.
And we got a caution on the racetrack. Problems in turn number 2 is going to slow this race for the first time. Saw a puff of smoke as I believe we had 1 truck have problems towards the back end of the field with the yellow coming out with Lane Riggs out in front. And I believe it was Shane Van Gisbergen who went for a slide in turns 1 and 2.
Shane hadn't made many moves early in this race, so evidently the truck wasn't to his liking. He was all the way back in 34th, about where he started. Oh, and no wonder. We talked about it. It gets loose and things happen in a hurry.
And did a nice job as we see this from Travis Pastrana's number 25 Ram truck. And it just happens so often in Charlotte, Michael. You get into the corner and you try to give it just a little bit more wheel and it just snaps sideways on you, and then you're trying to save it.
And just like Cole Trickle, he drove right into the smoke and he came out the other side and nothing was there. I bet you that was exciting for Travis Pastrana.
Pastrana has been able to navigate a couple of close calls today.
Man, that was a good 10-block drift right there. You didn't hit him at all right there when he was spinning, right? Nope, I had a great view of smoke.
You got to like that. Travis has got a lot of energy. I think he wakes up in the morning and just wants to go race something or jump something. He's a crazy cat.
Or jump out of something. So the pits are going to be open this time. However, most of the leaders are going to elect to stay out.
I don't see any takers for this little stop, but here comes Majeski as soon as I say that.
Majeski was running in about the 13th spot at the time of the caution, and he's going to be the first of the front runners.
He started up front and had fallen back outside the top 10, so obviously he didn't like something about that truck.
Yeah, and I'd anticipate we'll see, obviously, the tires going on Ty Majeski's truck, but would anticipate an adjustment of some form right here. He had lost 9 spots, Michael. You mentioned how he fell outside the top 10, so
up under the
start
front
to the
there.
race. Yep, looks like maybe making an adjustment to something with the shock, maybe the Packer adjustment in there. Might be hitting the racetrack too much. That's what you see a lot of times when they're doing that, or it's not low enough.
Dawson Sutton on pit road. Here's Luke Baldwin. They're going to check out the damage from his scrub against the wall. Baldwin's a lap down.
And an opportunistic caution for Luke right there to be able to work on that truck and make it good.
Working our first caution of the race in the North Carolina Education Lottery 200. We'll come on back for the restart right after this. The greatest day in motorsports is a reminder that we are on the heels of America's most somber holiday. We, of course, think about all of the men and women who serve across our military branches, but this weekend is about those who pay the ultimate sacrifice to allow us to do what we do on this day each and every year. And we are, of course, thinking about all of our former and active military this weekend as well.
No one does it better than the Charlotte Motor Speedway, saying thank you to those who pay the ultimate price. And the families, Gold Star families that are here, it's just a special weekend, and you can just feel the love.
Let's get an update on yesterday's winner. Here's Josh.
Well, you guys talked about the field getting bunched up at the start of this race. That led to some left front damage on the nose, as you see, of the 45 truck of Ross Chastain. He came over the radio, asked him if they should come in and pit and tend to it. His crew chief, Phil Gould, told him as long as it's driving all right, stay out. Ross said it seems to be driving fine as of now, so let's keep an eye on the 45 and see how this damage affects their run right now, guys.
And Regan, I don't see enough there that I think could hurt the downforce on the front of that truck. It looks like it's caved in up above the, up higher on the fender, and I think it's fine the way it's flared out on the bottom.
Long as that tire's not smoking, let it go for right now.
Leland Honeyman also has some damage on the backside of his Hallmark Friesen number 62 truck. However, he too is elected to stay out and try to continue his battle as he is running in the top 10. Getting set to get back underway. It'll be 19 laps to go in stage 1. Lane Riggs leading his first ever laps at Charlotte Motor Speedway brings us back to the restart.
And look on the side of that truck. It says Charlotte, the Niners. And you can see that's got to be a proud moment for that school located here in Charlotte to be running right out front and leading this race.
See Corey Day slip up to the high side right there, just really trying to learn that 7 truck and fight it, but that was a big moment in turns 1 and 2.
Look at this mess. They're all over the place.
Bit of a block by Friesen there on Garcia. 52 and 98 on the bottom of the track. Garcia trying to hold onto a loose truck. Double wide for what looks like 6 rows. Now 3 wide off turn 4 in the mid-pack.
This is crazy. Just what we expected all over this racetrack.
You know, I thought maybe we'd have some time to take and learn for a little bit for these drivers. Not the case, Michael. They're getting after it.
Truck in the middle, Ben Rhodes in a 99. Corey Day continuing to slide back. He just fell out of the top 10 for the first time in this race.
Ross Chastain with a big push on the back of Day. He'll go high. See if he can make some moves down there. It's been a good start to the race for Stuart Friesen there. You see him in the blue truck up top.
Big start to single file out just a little bit with Riggs still in front of Eckes, but not by much. Honeycutt still trying to work the top side. He's been pretty much committed to that middle groove since this race began.
And you see what that middle groove does. It gives Caden Honeycutt that run down the back straightaway. He's just trying to get that truck wound up to be able to see if he can make a pass. And look at Christian Eckes in front of him. The back of that truck is hanging out as he goes through the lead, Michael.
It's hanging out, and he's got the pedal to the metal, and he makes that pass.
Oh, that's tight. Look at this. Riggs was trying to work the side draft and almost got hooked. And now Honeycutt comes up the outside trying to battle for the lead.
This is a big day for Christian Eckes. That McAnally Hilgeman team has struggled mightily this year, and he's able to drive to the lead.
Last week, very uncharacteristic. They still battled to get a 7th place run, but man, I know they had their struggles and looking fantastic early on in this Charlotte race.
And as Eckes becomes our 3rd different leader, he got the lead in dramatic fashion. Watch this.
This is what you call, Eric, clearing yourself. He just ran that other truck, the truck of Riggs, right up the hill and grabbed that spot.
And based on how that was looking like it was going to turn out, Michael, I think Lane Riggs is probably fine with just losing 3 spots there and being able to fight another lap here.
Hello, I'm coming over.
And that's all a product of having to try and utilize that side draft. And sometimes you just get it just a little bit wrong between the 2 trucks, and it doesn't work out.
Let's get an update on the 3rd leader of the race, Christian Eckes. Here's Josh.
Well, guys, you talked about the inconsistency we've seen from Christian Eckes in his first year back in the Truck Series. I talked to him the other day, and he talked about the frustrations, saying there's only been a couple of races where they felt like they had a dominant truck capable of winning. So he said we had to evaluate our team, look at some things we could change. He said they went back to setups that they used a couple of years ago when he was in the Truck Series, stuff they could use to help him out and get back to where he could drive aggressively and contend for wins. Well, they unloaded pretty good. He said the truck is just a little bit tight, but otherwise feels like he has something he can really work with, and you're seeing that right now, guys.
And listening to Josh talk about that truck being just a little bit tight, Michael, if I'm starting this race today out there like these guys are, I want my truck to be just a little bit to the tight side. That's way easier to manage early on for the driver until you know exactly what you want.
And I just love what Lane Riggs is doing right now. He had the lead. He was running the bottom. He lost the lead. He said, well, there's more grooves out there. Let me try a top one and see if I can get anything done up there. And you see immediately Brandon Jones adapts. He adjusts. He said, I see the truck behind me making some ground. I'm going to give that a go up there.
For more on Lane Riggs, here's Amanda.
Yeah, guys, and I think he's just holding on for dear life out there. He radioed to his team, this thing is so loose, I'm just holding on. So he's counting down this lap to the end of the stage 1. But you look at that UNC Charlotte truck that Lane Riggs is driving here right in Charlotte. He is so proud of this wrap on this truck. Said that he pitched UNC Charlotte to be a sponsor. You see that Go Niners right there on the back. I was talking to his dad, Scott Riggs, ahead of the weekend. He said, I made Lane take a photo with this truck in his acceptance letter.
What a great feeling it is representing your school at your home track. And you can see Regan, while she was talking, Amanda was talking, he was loose.
Yeah, both corners, turns 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, that truck was extremely loose. And we just mentioned it, Michael, that you definitely, as we see Ty Majeski slow on the racetrack, just on pit road during that first caution.
Wow, what's going on here? That looks like some sort of electrical problem.
Power at all? I got power, but it's like the throttle just stopped. The throttle just stopped engaging.
He had worked his way back up to 20th after making that pit stop, and not sure what could be going on if the throttle's just not engaging on that truck. So we'll have to keep up with that.
I've never heard that. A throttle not engaging. I was going to get you to break that down for me, Regan.
I'm glad you didn't. I was trying to leave that to you, Michael, but been a rough season for Ty Majeski as the caution is out now.
Does not look like Majeski is going to be able to make it back, and even if so, he is traveling at a very slow pace on the apron at turns 3 and 4, and that will draw the second caution of the race with 9 laps to go in this stage. And I mean, look at the trajectory of Ty's year so far.
You want to see those line graphs be as straight as possible, and when you start getting those peaks and valleys on there, it can be frustrating. You know you're fast, but then the bad races in between, it just, as a team and a driver, it can frustrate you.
Yeah, you just you know you have potential, and you know you're gonna eventually win when you have the kind of speed he has, but just a lot of problems this year.
If our stock portfolio looked like that, we would not be able to sleep at night. That was a rough look, and it looks like it's going to head back down for Majeski, who has already gone a lap down, and he will continue to try to limp his way back to the pit area.
And this caution comes out at an interesting time, 8 to go in the stage, and you got to think there's a number of crew chiefs down there that are thinking this is the time to flip the stage right now, potentially, when they do open pit road up, possibly flip it and get your stop out of the way, or if you need an adjustment, now would be the time.
We're gonna have some flippers. We're gonna have some stage flippers here for sure.
Especially for some of the trucks that may not be racing for the Drivers' Championship, like a Brandon Jones, a Ross Chastain, a William Sawalich that are in the top 10. Those may be some of the 3 that may want to take advantage of this because they don't need the stage points at this time.
An interesting cat for me is Shane Van Gisbergen. We saw him just laboring in the back of the field. They threw that green flag for this restart, and he has jumped up 13 spots inside the top 25. This 71 truck was on quite the race. He's passing a truck a lap as he came to that caution. This could be an interesting time for him to say, okay, guys, we got a truck we can pass people with, we can win this race with. Let's use some strategy here. That's what this is all about.
And it sounds like on the radio that we might be seeing SVG as one of the trucks that are going to elect to try to come down the pit lane once the pits are open. As for the race leader, Christian Eckes, he's now led in 4 of his 6 starts at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Well, this summer, the biggest tournament on the planet comes to America, and you can see it all right here on Fox. Get ready for the 2026 FIFA World Cup, and it's all kicking off June 11th on Fox and FS1. It's been fun to travel to a lot of the different cities that are hosting the World Cup and seeing them start to promote it in a big way. Really excited to see how that all pans out.
And at Dover last week, I got me a USA jersey, number 15. So I'm going to be proudly watching Fox Sports and following America.
Excited to see Team USA on Fox and see what they're capable of. Always a good time.
So the pits are going to be open this time, and problems for another driver who's had a really tough 2026. That's Cole Butcher, whose truck came to a stop, and that is going to shut the pits down for another lap at least.
That's interesting. Getting a report of fuel pressure issues for the 13 of Butcher. He's been fast too. You know, you talk about the ups and downs. He starts with a lot of promise, a lot of speed, but has had a lot of issues during the course of the season. The team's filling it up with gas. You can see the crew members back there working on that left rear corner.
And I would have to think it seems way too early in the race to be out of fuel, and you got to think maybe there's something else going on causing them to feel like it's out of fuel, potentially maybe a pickup issue or something like that with that 13 truck.
A couple of Thor Sport trucks there.
And you can see them, they're getting ready to raise the back of the deck lid of this truck, and that would kind of indicate that there's something else that they want to try and see if they can figure out.
And this team desperately wants to try to remediate the problem because they do not want this to be a 4th straight DNF for Cole and this team.
Talk about the speed early in this race for Daniel Hemrick, driving up through the field as well. Ricky Stenhouse, a strong start to this race. Stenhouse doesn't need any points. I'd be really surprised if he isn't one of the guys in this Ford truck that hit pit road here.
I think definitely with the speed he's shown early on, Michael, the amount of spots he's moved up, 18 since the start of the race, that would be a great play for them. And you know, we mentioned we thought he was going to be good in this Ford truck today, and he's proven that so far.
Does that screams America to me, right? Memorial Day weekend's got the red, white, and blue flying on that Ford JF electric truck. Beautiful truck.
So the pits are going to be open this time. It'll be up to Eckes, Honeycutt, and Brandon Jones will be the first 3 to decide how they want to treat the remainder of this stage as they get set to approach the pit lane, which will offer up a green indicator for the first time under this caution flag. And Eckes is going to lead the charge as we get set to kick off pit stops. Let's go down to Amanda.
Yeah, and Eric, I'm not surprised to see Lane Riggs take the opportunity as well. It was right after he lost the lead where he was like, I'm just hanging on out here. His crews were one of the first over the wall. As you see the change happening now, it's going to be some air pressure adjustments and wedge to get this truck righted for Lane Riggs, Josh.
91 of Christian Eckes. Pretty happy with that truck at the start. Then it built too tight for him. He said, I don't want to be freed up too much as I make an adjustment. 4 tires and fuel for him. Caden Honeycutt, same report. Tight. Not able to really get to the trucks in front of him, especially on turn 4. 4 tires and fuel for Honeycutt.
And in the race off of pit road, it is going to be Grant Enfinger with a bit of strategy being pulled for the driver of the CR7 number 9. So strategy being deployed here before we close out stage 1 at Charlotte. Restart on the other side of the break. Welcome back to the North Carolina Education Lottery 200 for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, setting up what is going to be a 2-lap sprint to end Stage 1 after what was a very eventful round of pit stops, including for Leland Honeyman, who was running in the top 10 at the time, having a little bit of trouble getting out of his pit stall.
There's stuff going on all over this pit road. You can see just squeezing his way out there. You talked about eventful pit road. We're getting ready to have an eventful restart here, Eric. This is going to be crazy. A couple of trucks on the front row.
And we saw the initial start, Michael. We saw the initial start and how guys were able to spin tires and what could happen. Well, a couple trucks on the front row, Justin Haley and Dawson Sutton, old tires on those trucks. That is not going to help matters at all, and I'll be curious to see the top lane or the bottom lane. It appears the bottom lane has been prevailing not only last night but this morning so far as well.
And we see Ty Majeski and team, the report is they're having a fuel pump issue. We also got a report that his teammate Cole Butcher, they had to change a fuel pump on that truck as well. Bizarre for both Thor Sport trucks to be plagued with that problem. As we get set, the drivers are going to approach the Echo Park Automotive restart zone, and it is a couple of drivers looking for stage points. Justin Haley in his first laps led since Daytona, and Dawson Sutton in the 26 get us back underway with 2 to go on the stage.
2 to go, and they're going to be 4 wide. This is going to be crazy.
Enfinger, who took 2 tires, jumps up to the top side, but here comes Eckes, who slides wide with Brandon Jones down low, 4 wide behind him with Friesen in the wall.
Look at that.
Sawalich cutting it up through the middle in the 5.
Going to be tight down there, entering at that angle.
Haley's already out of the top 10. He's dropping like a rock on that top side as Eckes goes to the lead.
And just a great restart for Christian Eckes. Had his truck in the right places at the right time, and some great battles still behind him side by side here.
Half a lap to go in stage 1 as Jones gets up to 2nd. Lane Riggs made a pass to move up to 4th. Here's Honeycutt trying to pick up a few more spots.
Oh, he wanted to go low so bad, but decided to swing up to the top side. Can he get that 5 truck? It looks like he's going to do so.
Off the final quarter, it's going to be Christian Eckes coming to the line to get his 3rd stage win of 2026 with Brandon Jones and Lane Riggs, the top 3 after 30 laps here in Charlotte.
And a really nice job of Christian Eckes to work his way through traffic, through turns 1 and 2 in particular, early on that restart, and to be able to find his way back to the front. He's got tires, got fuel, he's got stage points. Michael, he's got everything you want right now.
And this team, I talked earlier about a bit of a struggle for this organization. No struggle today. That's great to see. Good speed for McAnally Hilgeman.
And as for the trucks that started on the front row of that restart, Justin Haley fell all the way back to 31st, but Dawson Sutton did get a point by finishing 10th. Well, it has certainly been a very tough few days here at Charlotte Motor Speedway as we continue to honor the life and legacy of not only the all-time wins leader in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, all-time wins leader in the O'Reilly Series, 2-time Cup Series champion, Kyle Busch, who we lost on Thursday at the age of 41. Kyle leaves us behind with many memories of his success. He had a tenacity and a drive for victory and an absolute hatred for anything but. His personality and everything that came along with Rowdy is certainly going to be missed. Our hearts and thoughts are with his family and all who knew Kyle and loved him. We mentioned Kyle, a two-time champion. Who could forget in the year that he missed several races due to injury, came back and still was able to capture the title. Also, Charlotte was one of his best racetracks. Fittingly that we are here this weekend getting set to run the 600 later on today. And crown jewels were something that he knew how to capture quite often, including the Brickyard 400. With another exclamation point with his second title to put a stamp on the one that he captured years prior, despite missing those handsful of races. Kyle's legacy was something that is going to live on forever throughout our industry. As we welcome you back to Charlotte Motor Speedway for the North Carolina Education Lottery 200, and we'll welcome you back into the broadcast booth along with Michael Waltrip and Regan Smith. I'm Eric Brendan, and you know, Michael, it's really been hard to grasp the reality that we've been living in over these last 2 days, knowing that Kyle is no longer with us, and the mood has been somber. But looking at clips like that and some of the other memories we've been able to stir up, what a life that Kyle lived, and what a legacy he's left behind.
You know what I love? I know he's in heaven looking down. And so many people that he battled elbow to elbow with and wrecked and wanted to fight are telling everyone how wonderful of a person Kyle was, what a competitor he was, what competitive spirit he possessed, and how much he wanted to go out and do the right thing on the racetrack by winning races. And then you see him now raising his kids, all the things he does with Brexton and Lennox. It just warms your heart. And I know Kyle's smiling thinking, wow, I didn't know they all liked me that much. And I know also that his family are loving these moments too, getting to hear everybody pay respect and be so thoughtful and thankful that we knew Kyle Busch. I can't believe he's gone. It's really hard for me to grasp, but I believe that he's in a better place.
You know, the last conversation I had, lengthy conversation I had with Kyle was at Texas a few weeks ago, and we talked for maybe 10 seconds about racing and about race cars. We spent the next 5 to 10 minutes talking about Brexton and talking about his family and what was going on with Lennox and Samantha and just, you know, as everyone's been saying all weekend, it doesn't seem real. It just doesn't seem real. And to have had the opportunity to be on the racetrack and race with Kyle and know him off the track and the family man that he became, he is going to be so missed. And man, just love being able to honor him this weekend and showcase what a talent he was.
Well, off the track, Michael was able to have some fun with him as well. We talked about the Cup Championships. How about this title that Kyle won?
He's a 24/7 wrestling champion. I was the referee that night, surprised those guys, showed my referee outfit, and watch this move Kyle Busch puts on.
Waltrip has a referee shirt on.
Oh, no. Bam! Right there. 1, 2, 3, and Kyle Busch becomes 24/7 champion in 2019.
It just doesn't matter what it was. Kyle found a way to always win. Even at wrestling.
All he does is win. That's right.
So we will continue to honor Kyle not only throughout the rest of this program, but throughout the rest of the season, as will just about every racing series. From Charlotte to Indy, it's all over and well-deserved for Kyle and company as we are a half a lap away from the restart here with the trucks to begin stage number 2. A little bit of housekeeping here. We talked about Justin Haley falling back. He actually had a flat left front on the last lap, as did his teammate Brendan Butterbean Queen. The trucks, most of the trucks came on down, filled up with Sunoco race fuel with zero carbon bioethanol, and it is Christian Eckes who took home top honors in the stage. And Regan, how about Dawson Sutton hanging on there for a top 10?
Yeah, a really nice job on Old Tires finding a way to get at least a point out of it. And you mentioned Justin Haley. Had to question if something wasn't going wrong there as quick as he fell back through the pack. Looked a little out of control, too.
Well, we see Ricky Stenhouse going to restart on the outside of the 4th row. And then the guy I've been watching all race long, Regan, Brandon Jones. I think he's going to be one of my favorites to get it done today. He's just got a fast #1 truck, and he's in a good spot right now.
As they come into the Echo Park restart zone, it will be Christian Eckes, the control truck on the bottom in the 91, and then the #1 truck of Brandon Jones alongside as we're back underway with 25 laps to go in stage 2.
Nice start there. Good pushes for our front row. Grant said, I'm tired of pushing, though. I'm going high. Takes that 9 truck up top. Oh!
That's Honeyman having a moment there in the middle of the pack. Tanner Gray gets by on the outside. Everybody keeps it straight.
See those guys zigzagging around on the straightaways, just trying to break the draft to get a little bit of a cushion behind them.
Looked like Grant was maybe going to make that top side work when we got down the backstretch. Unfortunately, 3 and 4 didn't work out for him. He's going to have to try and get that wound up again. And Caden Honeycutt trying to make a move to the bottom here, Michael.
Look how wide Lane's running in that 34 truck right out next to the wall, ducks down to the bottom to catch that draft. I think it's important to remember at home, if you're watching, 180, 180 miles an hour in a pickup truck. That's why that air means so much. These guys are leaning on each other so tight.
And the effect of the draft in these trucks, very impactful, and that's why we'll see Riggs and company try to stay right in the tire tracks of the leader. An update on Leland Honeyman in the 62. We saw him get out of shape on the restart. Flat tire as he came down to the pit road to get service rendered. There's Eckes trying to break up that draft down the backstretch, hoping to keep Riggs at bay.
That's about as aggressive as I've seen guys to break the draft on the straightaways, and we've seen it all race long.
And I've been noticing, on the Christian Eckes truck, he's been able to really hold that corner low coming off of the corners and not having to use up the entire racetrack, as we see Brandon Jones here in a battle right now with Ross Chastain. Ross getting a little bit loose right there.
Oh, trouble, front straightaway, got a truck up in flames going down to turn number 1. Caution is out immediately as the truck has made its way down to the apron, and it's Luke Baldwin, whose bad day has just gone even worse.
Get that thing over in the grass. That'll help get some moisture under the hood. See if Luke can hop out of that thing right quick.
Saw the window net down quick, which he's hustling out as fast as he can, and glad to see him hop out.
Yes,
rapidly.
sir.
Luke was unfortunately still a lap down at the time after the initial problem at the start of the race. You see Luke climbing from the truck.
Letting the safety team know that he's okay, but he's obviously taking in some fumes, coughing those up.
See at the top of the screen there.
The thing just blow up, Regan?
Looked like it blew up, yeah, Michael, and of course the fire to follow immediately.
That's hot oil onto the headers, and what a mess. Look at all that fire. Just glad to see Luke hop out of that. And looking on TV, you just, as a guy that's, a couple of guys that's been on fire before, it's just, you can't explain the intensity of that heat when it comes up like that.
All you're thinking about is, let me get this vehicle stopped, which is exactly what he did, get out his cookies again. And he did a nice job also. When that smoke fills the cab of the truck, it gets very difficult to see, and you're worried about slowing down. You're also trying to keep the truck on track the best you can and get down to where you can come to a safe stop. And you see the thumbs up from Luke. That's what you like to see. I know he's frustrated, but that thumbs up tells everybody I'm okay.
And I like that kid's competitiveness. I mean, every time he gets behind the wheel of this 2 truck, he puts it up front. He puts it in a good position. He's had some good runs. And sad that it came to an end early here today, but he'll continue to learn and continue to grow as a driver.
I drove for Luke's dad, Tommy, for a year, and Luke was a really little kid. It's kind of crazy to see him all grown up right now, and to be out here in the truck series and doing the things he is. He does a nice job. He puts the trucks in the best places that he can, and is really doing a good job of learning his racecraft. You
know why he was a little kid? You're old. You've gotten old.
I wasn't going to go down that path, Michael. I was just pretending that maybe I'm old. You're right. I'm just going to go with that.
It feels good to be up here, doesn't it? I was still involved in this wonderful sport of NASCAR, getting to do what we love, watch guys race.
So this is caution number 4. And this race here at Charlotte kicks off a very unique stretch of tracks for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, Regan.
Yeah, I mean, you see right here, Charlotte obviously today, but Nashville, concrete 1.33 mile track. Michael, I know you love Nashville. That's going to be fun. And then Michigan, the manufacturers, 2 miles, and it just is as fast as they come.
And what about we're going to another street course? Man, we had so much fun down in St. Pete with these guys, and now we're going to go to San Diego and race on the streets there, Naval Base.
Then we head to the road course, the natural terrain road course, Lime Rock Park for the 2nd straight year, and then back on a short track at North Wilkesboro Speedway.
This is just such a fun schedule of races right here, and you could look at any one of these and say, hey, what's your favorite one? I know for me, I am looking forward to San Diego. Going to be so special racing around a naval base.
Well, as far as that San Diego stop, let's take a look at what it's going to look like when we get there.
This is amazing. I cannot wait to wander around on the naval base in San Diego. another opportunity just to say thank you. Thank you to the men and women that protect us and keep this the greatest country in the world.
And just a beautiful, beautiful scene. It's hard to believe that there's going to be a racetrack in those shots that we just saw, and the aircraft carrier sitting right there, and what a special weekend.
Continuing to work this caution in stage number 2. Let's go down to Josh.
Get an update on Corey Day. Started the day on the pole. He was really tight in that 7 truck during the first run. They made an adjustment, a track bar adjustment, to try and help him out a little bit better, but still said he's too tight, especially in 3 and 4. They told him he's probably going to have to run the bottom line, even though he wants to move up to compensate for that. But this 7 truck for Corey Day, you know the emotions of him stepping in for Kyle Busch in this day. Told me earlier today that, yes, it's something that is going to be on his mind. The best thing he can do is try and get this thing into victory lane. The tragedy of it all, but he's looking to honor KB with a win out here today, guys.
Yeah, and you see on that 7 truck, Spire Motorsports putting the KBM decals all over that truck, on the front, the back, and on the bed cover there. And you know, that was Kyle Busch Motorsports, which was that's where Spire came from. And you know, just so cool to see those logos back on that truck, and Corey out there driving for Kyle today.
You know, and I love about Corey, I mean, it's been crazy, his race. I mean, he's been sideways, he's been 3 wide, but he's sitting in the 6th position, still in a position to go win this race.
Working our 4th caution of the race. We'll step aside and come on back for the restart here in Charlotte. Charlotte Motor Speedway, nicknamed America's home for racing, also the home of the 600 on one of the biggest racing days of the year. Welcome back to the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. We are getting set to restart this race following a caution after Luke Baldwin had a problem heading down to turn 1. Let's listen to some radio from a driver running in the top 10. Here's Brandon Jones.
10:44. I'd say we're starting to get into the territory now that we may not make the full distance. Copy.
Adverse weather conditions. That means at 12 o'clock, the next lap will be the white flag. And I feel like we're going to make the distance still, but the teams are just letting their guys know it's a possibility that we won't go all the way, but I feel like we're going to make it.
And it's not like we needed anything to ramp the intensity up just a little bit more, Michael. It's been intense already on the track for these trucks, and we'll have to, as the teams are, you keep an eye on it, but not something overly concerning quite yet. They're just reminding the drivers, and as a driver, you want to know those things.
Yes.
Right? You have no reference for time when you're in the truck. All you know is what lap you're on and who you're racing around, so you need those reminders.
Now, if we happen to get towards the end of the race before 12 o'clock noon Eastern time and we were to have a late caution, we would have the opportunity for overtime. It's only in effect if we get up to 12 noon. So that'll be the time that we'll be keeping an eye on here on the watch as we get set to restart this race. Christian Eckes, a Kyle Busch Motorsports alumni, alongside of Lane Riggs, are going to bring us down for this restart. It's going to be 15 laps to go in the stage, 89 laps to go in the race. A pair of Tricon Garage teammates, and Caden Honeycutt, the points leader in the 11 in row 2, with Brandon Jones up to the outside to round out your front 4. Getting set to come into the Echo Park Automotive Restart Zone with Eckes, the control truck, and the trend has been he has been picking the bottom. We'll see if it works out for him here as we get back underway.
Look how tight that is, Regan, just pouncing on each other.
And a good push from Caden Honeycutt, almost too good of a push there. You see all the way into turn 1, just back and forth with those shoves.
A lot of those moves you see are defensive. You know, you want to get in front of a guy and you want to make sure he can't get a run on you.
How about Honeycutt to the middle as Riggs gets propelled out in front thanks to a push from Brandon Jones. Riggs back to the lead. Jones to second. Honeycutt trying to get down low as Jones peaks up top for the lead in 1.
How cool is this? Look how close that is.
And just the battles that these guys are having.
Oh, trouble! Day gets turned, lifts off the ground, and slams the wall hard on the driver's side. Back up in front of the pack. A terrible crash for Corey Day. Looked like he tried to protect the spot as he was running in 6th and got turned out of line in a frightening accident for the Spire number 7. Collected one of the Ram trucks as they went by. I believe that was Mini Tyrell that caught him as he spun back up into the racing groove. But a heartbreaking end for what has been a very, very tough few days for this team.
We saw Corey moving around inside of that truck, which is a great sign. The safety team is there to check on him. Driver's side is always very scary. But I did see him moving around in the truck.
And rare that we see, you know, a truck is to your point, Michael, you can really see him moving around there. Rare that we see a truck lift off the ground like that. It's just no opportunity to scrub any of that speed as he was going backwards. And
well, and we've talked about the speed, Regan, and 180 miles an hour in a truck. And when something goes wrong, it just happens in a hurry. I'm just so thankful the thing returned to the ground on its wheels. See if there's a little bit of a block here.
So that's Gio Ruggiero trying to get the spot, and it looks like Day tried to cover it. And wow, all 4 wheels off the ground there. And lucky the truck set back down, but then hit flush with that driver's side.
But just a tough place to make that impact. That's where the ball kind of jogs back in right there, and the safety equipment can stay parked behind there to get out to the trucks when they're needed. And you see that secondary impact after the fact there.
See what the 25 truck with Pastrana sees. Oh, those guys had to do a nice job of not collecting Corey again.
And you see there on that shot.
Watch this, Regan, where this wall. See the wall give there? So thankful for safer barriers and the fact that he was able to hit a wall that moved. Watch how this happens.
And it just, you know, it made that truck look like a toy truck as it's floating through the air. And how about this by Travis Pastrana, just barely getting by right there and did a really nice job of spotting the wreck and his spotter telling him where to go. And, man, just glad to see Corey Day get out of that truck after an impact like that.
Let's take a listen to the radio from that 7 truck of Corey Day.
I don't know what you want me to do there. I don't want you to do anything. You're fine. He's throwing a stupid block.
Sounded like that might have been from Gio Ruggiero, as a matter of fact.
Gio Ruggiero, they're talking about, you know, just what he could have done different. And, you know, that's part of what we're in a situation where every spot matters so much. We see the battle going on up front, but as you get further back in the pack, it means just as much to have a couple further spots. And Mini Tyrell, unfortunately, going behind the wall, which, you know, based on the impact that he had, I think we would have anticipated that happening. And that truck is just tore up, Michael.
And, you know, Regan, the racing has just been so good, but we can't seem to get into a rhythm. There's a caution after caution, and these guys are just fighting for every inch on the racetrack. You can see how intense things are.
Well, we saw a dramatic incident before this caution, a very scary moment for Luke Baldwin. Amanda is with him.
Yeah, Eric, happy to report that 19-year-old Luke Baldwin has been released from the care center. And, man, that got big and fiery quick for you. What was the warning that you had?
Really nothing. It kind of went off of 4 and filled up with smoke. And then I was just trying to get it shut off and slow down and off the racetrack. And then I saw a lot of orange and red. And, you know, I guess a little bit of panic set in, but I felt like I got out in a timely manner. Just unfortunate. I hate it. We had something go wrong on the first couple laps. I don't know if it was just super free and I lost it, but it felt like I might have had a tire go down. I don't know. I don't want to make an excuse if it was my fault, but I don't know. And then the guys were working super hard to get it fixed, and I think we're going to end up being able to make it to stage 3, pick a couple off, you know, and just ride around and hopefully make it to the end. I hate it for my guys. You know, they worked way too hard all week for an incident like that on the first couple laps, and then to lose an engine. Just hate it for the whole program.
Thank you, Luke.
Thank you.
Thanks, Amanda. Luke worked very hard with the Team Rayom organization to help rebuild the truck after the incident at Dover last week, as the pits are open. And the first truck to come down, Gio Ruggiero, with some noticeable damage there right above the right front headlight, and he leads several more down for service.
Yeah, Gio was running 7th, and basically everyone behind him, Josh, decided to pit. 17's got a little bit of damage.
Yeah, that's right. 17 of Gio Ruggiero has that damage from the contact with the 7 truck. He said it felt like it's still driving well, dragging the right front tire a bit, but the steering wheel still feels straight. But you can see them trying to evaluate the truck right now and repair some of that damage on the right front, guys.
They're evaluating it with a hammer, moving that right front fender out. I think he'll be fine. There was not major damage there.
Yeah, and you saw that fender take its form back. As soon as they hit that hammer on it, took its form back. That damage, you know, we saw Ross Chastain with a little damage to his front earlier on. Probably didn't need to be fixed, but this one definitely needed some help.
We are under caution number 5 after a frightening ride for Corey Day. But he is thankfully okay.
Travis Pastrana, he's been very, very persistent. We saw him start at the back, missed a crash. He's all the way upside the top 15 right now.
And doing what he needs to, Michael, right? You spend the first half of the race just learning and figuring and refreshing yourself, right? He doesn't do this very often anymore, and that's exactly what he's been doing.
Look at those eyes. Look at the intensity. I mean, this guy's done it all in motorsports. He's 2 wheels, 4 wheels, in the air, jumping things, it doesn't matter.
Back flips, front flips, all of them.
I just love his eyes right there. That's what it's all about.
So it'll be 7 laps to go in stage 2. Lane Riggs got the lead off the last restart with Brandon Jones joining him on the front row. Christian Eckes, the stage 1 winner, is going to restart in 3rd into the Echo Park Automotive Restart Zone. And again, the control truck picking the bottom as we got 7 to go in stage 2.
Ross Chastain immediately looks to the high side. And that's why momentum up there. Bring Ben Rhodes to the party for the first time today in that bright orange truck. Look at those blocks.
Just everything they can do to keep that lead right now for Lane Riggs and trying to keep Christian Eckes behind him.
Riggs holds the lead off the restart. Eckes second, 3 wide, 2 rows deep, and contact with Chris Wright, and he hangs onto the truck to turn 1.
Wow, that was a close one. Look at Shane Van Gisbergen up top.
Connor Zilic in the 77 losing some spots, having to pedal it as Wright had to catch the truck going into 1.
Corey LaJoie in that 10 down on the bottom in his Ram trying to make some moves.
And just some incredible battles here. All this 3 wide on these restarts tells you the track's gripped up, and these guys have a lot of confidence in what they're doing with these vehicles.
I don't have a lot of confidence they're all going to make it. It seems crazy to me the way they battle and block, and we see the result of it. Look at that, stringing all the way to the bottom on the back straightaway is Riggs.
It's the battle for 4th. Daniel Hemrick, who again started way back in the field when this race came down to green and is trying to join his teammate Eckes up towards the top 3. Working over Chastain, who got a great run off turn 4. Now he's to the inside of Brandon Jones for 3rd.
Power move there by Ross to the bottom, but Brandon isn't giving up on the top.
Oh, Ross is going to take the spot off the second turn. That was close.
I think you said that right, Eric. He took the spot. It was aggressive.
And Ross really finding that lane that he likes, right? And it's so cool at Charlotte, Michael, when you find a lane that you like and you can make it work. And Ross certainly a lot of experience around this track. Of course, won last night's race as well.
Ross, one of 2 drivers in the field trying to run triple duty on the weekend. Connor Zilic being the other as we ride on board with the points leader, having to pedal the throttle off the second turn.
And you just watch that truck in front of you get smaller when you do that. That's the worst place to have that happen. Corner exit pedaling it as he drives it all the way into 3 and 4, just trying to make up that ground on Brandon Jones.
Listen to him work that throttle. Wanting it to go, but not time for it to go yet.
I think these guys aren't driving hard right now. When you hear them working a throttle like that, you know that these guys are getting after it.
I feel like I'm driving. There's so much going on down there. This is intense.
Lap and a half to go on the stage. Lane Riggs working with about the biggest lead we've seen anybody have all day, a half a second. This is the battle for 7th spot between a pair of ThorSport teammates, Ben Rhodes in the 99, Jake Garcia in the 98.
Garcia to the top 10. Stuart Friesen, you know he likes to sling some mud up there next to the wall. Dirt racer, taking it really high, but good momentum down the front for Jake in that 98. Look at
bit of a block on teammates there with Rhodes trying to protect that spot.
Wow, that was a bad break for the 98. Lost his momentum as you see another truck from the McAnally Hilgeman stables there. Tyler Ankrum into the top 10.
And this fight will go all the way down to end the stage. Meanwhile, here comes Lane Riggs off of turn number 4. It's going to be his 2nd stage win of 2026. Lane Riggs captures stage 2 at Charlotte. Last time he won stage 2 was at St. Petersburg, and he went on to win the race. We'll see if he can do it here as well.
And how about that last lap for Stuart Friesen? 2 spots, 2 points for Stuart with some great moves to the outside. He was able to complete that pass in 3 and 4.
Got by both of the ThorSport trucks in that final lap of the stage. Well, we just saw a pretty wild incident on the back straightaway involving the truck that led us to the green flag. Amanda is with Corey Day.
Yeah, Eric, is a very scary ride for Corey Day in the 7. Happy to see that he is released from medical. And Corey, I know what this weekend means to you and for the team. We're going to take a look at the replay. Can you walk us through your experience?
Yeah, the 17 just got a big run there off of 2, and he kind of, started to shade down, so I shaded with him, and then he shaded back up, and that was it. So, I don't know. My spotter didn't do anything wrong. He told me he was there. I just thought I was clear, and I wasn't. So I just hate it for the 7 guys. I mean, this is exactly what I didn't want to do today. I just wanted to deliver him a good run. So I feel terrible. Yeah, just hate it.
Thank you, Corey.
In Corey's defense, coming out of the car yesterday where the closing rates, they vary a little bit between those cars and what we're running here today. Perhaps just misjudged that, took full responsibility there.
Yeah, and that's, sometimes when you're battling, right, you know that you want to throw that block and save that position. And to your point, Eric, the closing rates are very different between the 2 series at different times. And, it's just one of those situations where Gio was trying to make that move and wasn't going to give when he made that move either. And that's the end result.
Well, wouldn't you say there's been a few blocks thrown? I mean, that's going to happen. You got to determine when you throw those blocks, is that guy behind you going to take it, or is he going to put the fender to you?
And there's going to be a few more thrown as well. That won't be the last one we see.
We're going to see some action here, right?
Pits are going to be open this time. We expect most of the field to come down and fill up with Sunoco race fuel with zero carbon bioethanol. And in fact, just about everybody, except for a few, will head to pit road. Amanda's down there.
Well, and the guy leading them off is that 34 of Lane Riggs, has led some of the most laps around here, Charlotte Motor Speedway here today, but he's saying that this truck is a little free. He's struggling with rear security. Josh, there will be adjustments made on this Go Falcons truck.
On the other side of things for Ross Chastain, he said that truck is tighter than it was earlier. They're going to make some adjustments to help him out. For the 91 of Christian Eckes, the same deal. He said that truck is very tight, especially on throttle, even worse in traffic. The team told him, don't worry, we'll help you out as well.
You know what I love, guys? We got varying strategies, and we've seen it all day long. Different trucks staying out while others pit. It makes for some intense restarts, I know that. But it's fun to follow along and see who's got what for a plan.
And we're going to see what our Stage 2 winner, Lane Riggs, can do with the varying strategy. His 2nd stage win of the season, looking to see if he can get his 2nd win of the season. Come on back to Charlotte as we kick off Stage 3.
drawers, mop the floors, stand tall, like no one's ever been here before or at all. And don't you mention all the inches that are scraped on the door frame. We all know.
Just a few of the hundreds of bows that Kyle Busch rightfully took throughout his life and career. As we welcome you back up to the broadcast booth. And, you know, gentlemen, I love when a driver could deliver a unique style celebration. And Kyle did just that, almost as a bit of a tip of the cap to some of the fans who may not have been so receptive when he won some of those races, and he continued that trend, and that trend has carried on to this week, and I think we're going to see some more bows here at Charlotte Motor Speedway today.
You know, and those fans warmed up to Kyle. Later, as he won more and more races, and recently, there were more cheers than boos, and that moment at Dover, seeing him give the bow and saluting the fans and their response to it, it's something that will live with us as NASCAR fans and folks. It'll live with us forever.
I got to see a number of those bows, not only as a competitor, and as a competitor, you saw so many of them that you almost got irritated with them because it seemed like Kyle won every single race and every single weekend. But then as I switched over to the roll on pit road and getting to be down there and interview the winners, it was so cool to see him get out of the whatever vehicle he was in, the Cup car, the truck, the O'Reilly car, whatever one it was, and take that bow. And to Michael's point, hearing the change from, you know, 10 years ago until now, and the reaction from the crowd, so special and so cool to see those.
How much are we looking forward to watching Brexton stand up there and give those bows as he races forward with his NASCAR career?
It is only a matter of time until he's making a lot of those.
So as we're just under a lap away from the restart, we got a bit of a hodgepodge of strategy here. Now, it looks as though the top 9 trucks have stayed out. You got to go back to about Christian Eckes to find the first truck out, and we are targeting 45 minutes from now when this adverse conditions rule will take effect. So if we hit the 12 o'clock hour here Eastern, that means that the next time the leader comes by the start-finish line, they will see the white flag. No chance at overtime. With 68 laps to go at this restart, it's going to be close, especially with how frantic the racing has been.
And the closer we get to that 12 o'clock hour, the more the intensity, the more these drivers are going to take more risk, Michael. And I don't know how you can take more than what they're taking, but they're going to try.
Are you saying things are going to ratchet up? I don't know if I agree with that, Regan. It's crazy.
So Grant Enfinger, the control truck on the bottom of the 9, top row, 3 Cup drivers, Zilich, Van Gisbergen, Stenhouse, bottom side, Ruggiero Sawalich, inside of rows 2 and 3, as we get back underway with 68 laps to go.
See Grant Enfinger doing a nice job on the restart, having the control that time, and we've seen those 2 lanes be even. We're going to be side by side coming off of turn 2 here.
Oh, contact there. Chastain all the way to the apron and merges back in line.
Damage there to Honeyman's truck. You see the smoke off the 62, but he doesn't lift, does he?
Ross continuing to fall back. Looks like he may have something more going on with that truck.
Just a crazy block right there. It looks like maybe damage to the right front of Ross's truck. Maybe got a tire.
Honeyman's truck continuing to smoke as we got a problem in turn number 2. Trouble in the second corner. One truck went around towards the back of the pack, and it's the number 76 of Spencer Boyd.
And I believe that all got started with whatever was going on with Ross Chastain. After that back straightaway contact, looked like maybe, and we see right there, a tire down, appears to be the right front tire, and you saw him kind of backing up off of turn 4 just a little bit, and it continued all the way down into turns 1 and 2, and I think we're going to see that may be what ultimately caused Spencer Boyd to go around.
And that was just a result of contact with the big block from Honeyman and into Ross's right front.
What a save by Ross, though, as well.
Yeah.
I mean, he had his hands full, and the further down to the bottom you get, the rougher that track is.
You can see back there, I think Spencer let off due to the mess, and maybe Frankie Muniz behind him didn't see.
Yeah, and Ross was just in front of him at that point right there, kind of held up in the middle of the racetrack, and it's just reactionary for all these guys. This is on the backstretch right here, the original contact, and you see right there that right front, and man, that's plenty of contact to cut that tire down, and Look at that truck hopping up and down, Michael. It's so rough down there, and he's still wheeling it.
How about leaving black marks at 175 miles an hour? As you see the damage to the right front, he's already bent up the left front. He's not out of this thing, though, Regan. He's going to come in, get these tires changed, pull that fender out, and be a part of this battle again.
And anytime Ross has got 4 tires on a vehicle, I don't ever think that he's out of it. But that's right. He's still going to have the opportunity to fix it right here. And of course, an extra set of tires today because they didn't get practice and qualifying in, so those carried over to the race. So he's still in a good spot for the end of this race as it'll come down to the final pit stop potentially.
Ross going to come back in for some more attention. Mikey, you hinted at the damage on the left front. That happened at the start of the race. He'd been managing that quite well, but evidently they want to take some more time to get this truck right. And he did come down the pit lane when the pits were closed, so we'll have to restart at the back of the pack anyway.
Well, they're going to work on that right front fender, but also this is interesting. He's on pit road. He's getting service. They filled it up with gas. Can he make it to 12 o'clock? I mean, could there be a strategy play here as well?
I can assure you that once the team gets done repairing this truck and they get an opportunity to figure out where everything lines up, they are probably thinking that same thing at some point here, Michael. And you know, not enough fuel to make it to the full 65 laps from right here, but 12 o'clock at the pace that we're going could be definitely something to keep an eye on here.
I've gotten to the point in life where I rarely make it to 12 o'clock anymore, but.
Different 12 o'clock, Michael. Different 12 o'clock.
These guys are going to try to race to 12 o'clock. It'll be interesting for me to see who brings it down here. We've had this happen all race long, differing strategies. These cats at the front of the field are continuing to stay out. Last pitted on lap 50. No takers, huh?
Looks like Leland Honeyman is going to be one of the trucks to come down the pit lane to address the damage on the left rear. So Gio Ruggiero and Connor Zilich out in front of the field with 64 scheduled laps to go. Back to the North Carolina Education Lottery 200, where Gio Ruggiero, the leader, elected to stay out. Let's listen to why.
We're still way outside our window to make it. So this caution is going to make it really close if we run the full distance or not. I'd say we'll probably be, right now, if we don't have any more cautions, maybe 5 to 10 laps short.
The longest green flag run we've had today, 12 laps, and we're coming to 62 to go with Gio leading us back down and Connor Zilich to the outside. Boy, these restarts are aggressive.
Look at Honeycutt right up the middle. Ooh.
Eckes and Sawalich bouncing off each other as the pushing and shoving continues 2 rows behind them.
This is crazy. Tanner Gray coming to the party in that 15 truck. Hadn't mentioned his name today.
SVG trying to come up the top side. Riggs is going to slam the door behind him to try to stop the truck that was trying to follow him through. That was Hemrick in the 19.
Ricky Stenhouse up the middle.
And just when you think guys don't want to be 3 wide in the middle, you see somebody else trying to make the move, and you know, Lane Riggs was trying to make that happen again off of turn 2 as we see Daniel Hemrick with a nice move down the back straightaway.
You know, when you make that shallow entry into the corner, it just makes it so hard to get that truck to stay on the bottom, and you wind up 3 wide like we saw behind the 4 leaders here.
Oh boy, that was Hemrick squeezing to the top of Riggs in the tri-oval.
These battles, when this track is as wide as it is, right from the top to the bottom, guys can have confidence whatever lane they're running, and it really allows you to make some of those even more aggressive moves. And prime example right here, you got 1 riding the wall and 1 on the line.
And kudos to SVG. Let's not forget, he spun very early in this race. May have put him off strategy just a little bit, but adapting to a truck here on an intermediate racetrack, something he's not done very much of. And you see him still trying to hold on to this spot from Hendrick to crack the top 5.
And no surprise with Shane Van Gisbergen, just the amount of talent that he has. And you know, when it comes to a race like this where these trucks are bouncing around, where there's different multiple lanes and lots to figure out, you just knew that he was going to find a way somehow, and he's done a nice job all day.
Well, all this is going to help him tonight in the 600 too, making laps, running up next to that outside wall, just learning different grooves. This is the track, obviously, that they'll race on tonight. The conditions are going to be a lot like it will be tonight.
And he's got a great run off turn 2 to hold on to that spot. Let's go down to Amanda for an update on Grant Enfinger.
Yeah, terrible restart for Grant Enfinger. He was in the 3rd position after those restart cautions. Guys, back to you, Eric.
And it's problems for Leland Honeyman Jr. off of turn number 2. That's been the trouble spot. He did pit on that last caution to repair some of the damage sustained after he and Ross Chastain bounced off one another. And it appears as though he's got some more issues on that left side.
I think he's gone for a spin. You can see the left front is flat.
I'm not sure if the left front flat caused the damage and caused him to spin, or which came first or second here.
Well, heck, we don't even know if he spun yet or not, but I'm assuming he did with all the action we've seen today. Oh.
Pastrana dodging another one.
He's had a mirror for a windshield full today, hasn't he?
And that's Cole Butcher on the outside, and just these trucks, when you get side by side in the wrong situation like that, and you're trying to turn to the left to stay off the truck on your outside, and they get on your door, it'll feel like it's just spinning right around, like you don't even do anything, and it spins around. And that another hard driver's side door contact. Second one of those we've seen today, Michael.
This will end his day.
Good job by Frankie Muniz as well in the 33 to dodge the spinning 62 of Honeyman as he came off the second turn. So yet another short stretch of green flag racing. We still have not gone more than 12 consecutive green flag laps on what has been a treacherous Charlotte Motor Speedway this afternoon, or I should say this morning.
And the 3 of us have not used our chairs. We standing up just checking out all this action. It's crazy how intense this battle has been. You could watch them. You can watch them the way they drive and block and 3 wide and see there's going to be issues.
You know, and on top of all that battling, right? Battling is breeding these cautions that we're seeing. And I want to go back to the previous caution. Ross Chastain hits pit road, gets a full load of fuel. We heard Gio Rogero's team talking about the fact that they thought they were 5 to 10 laps short, depending on what happened with the 12 o'clock rule. And as we look at Ross Chastain, all of a sudden now that decision for fuel, as we run more laps under caution here, looks like it may work out. And you see right here, the pit crew's getting ready.
There's going to be a lot of takers on this one.
This is the one that they're yeah.
They know they can get enough gas here to get to the end, and you got to come take it.
We heard the hesitation from the Gio Ruggiero crew as we came to the restart. Obviously, no hesitation going to be this time by as the crews are armed and ready to service that truck and see if they can protect the lead in what will be 55 to go at the line. But again, we're coming up on about 30 minutes to that adverse conditions rule, which would get us to the point where the race would end prematurely of its scheduled distance. It's going to be close. So pits are going to be open this time. Gio Ruggiero will likely be the first truck to lead us down. Eckes, one of the stage winners, just behind him. Brandon Jones, your top 3. And here they come, Amanda.
Yeah, Brandon Jones started this race in the 5th position, comes in here 3rd. Jeremy Donnelly, the crew chief, on his feet, getting this team ready for what might be the last stop of this race. Brandon Jones, a self-described KB nerd race for Kyle Busch. They're going to tighten this truck up a little bit. He wants to keep it up with the track, Josh.
17 of Gio Ruggiero said he's just a little bit free in 1 and 2. It'll be 4 tires and fuel for him for the 91 of Christian Eckes. That truck just a little bit tight. Otherwise, they've been pretty happy with it. See some adjustments going in. It'll be 4 tires and fuel for the 91.
This whole race, the strategy has been across the board, and this stop, no different. We'll hit the refresh button, gather the data and details, and deliver it all to you in what may be the final stretch run to the finish here at Charlotte. Welcome back to the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series racing here at Charlotte. Tyler Ankrum, who coming into this race held on to the final spot in the chase standings, 10th, is the leader. What's their thought process? Let's listen.
We have 3 green flag laps on our tires, so no disadvantage there. Just save all the gas you can. We made our bed, baby. I think you can make it here. Time-wise.
Time-wise that they're alluding to is the 12 o'clock hour, which we're only about 27 minutes away, which would get us to a premature end of this race and exclude the opportunity for overtime with 52 scheduled laps to go.
And let me dissect what Mark Hillman was just trying to, or was just telling his driver, Tyler Ankrum, drive it like you stole it, was what he was trying to comprehend to him right there. They've made their bet. He's right about that. And, you know, what you tell a driver, 3 green flag laps on your tire, you tell him that because you want to make sure that he's giving it, you know, everything and not worried about any of that stuff.
And the fastest truck today so far, Lane Riggs, is right behind Ankrum, so he can expect a great push. It'll be important to do a great block to make sure he doesn't get put 3 wide. Dawson Sutton up on the front row. He's had some issues all day long, but no surprise he's on the front row because this lineup has been flipped from one end to the other all day long.
So the top 2 trucks stayed out. Most of the trucks that pitted elected to top off. The leader at the time of the caution, Gio Ruggiero, restarting back in 18th spot with 52 laps to go. It's Ankrum and Sutton on the front row. Let's try it again.
There's the push. Ankrum does a great job holding that low line, not letting him get forced 3 wide. But look at Lane. We've talked about the speed on the 34 truck, and he just swings to the top side. Big push from Ross Chastain coming.
And Chastain is one of the trucks that elected to come down and top off for fuel, and he's up to second, 4 wide behind him as they go to 3.
I just can't believe they keep making it. I know they keep wrecking, but they also keep making it a lot.
I've held my breath more today than any race in a long time, Michael, and it just continues to be intense, and these guys are doing a great job.
As the race continues on, problems for one of our drivers attempting triple duty in the top 10. Connor Zilic in the 77, restart violation. He will have to serve a penalty as Hemrick jumps to his inside.
There you see the 77 on the outside. Obviously, he can't serve that now. He would hope for a quick caution here, which I wouldn't not believe that might happen. Now he'll swing to the bottom side. Look at that battle for the lead.
And a big wiggle for Ross Chastain into 1 there as he tried to show that nose down to the bottom and had to catch that truck.
And that momentary break in momentum allows Eckes to get right up to the rear spoiler of Ross in what is now a battle for the 2nd spot.
Wow. Power move to the bottom for Eckes in the 91 truck.
And that 91 has shown a ton of grip all day long, Michael, able to really hold that white line all the way off of corner exits, but also not kill his momentum. He needs 1 more good corner here to clear Ross.
And there it is. See if we can see what happens to Connor Zilic here. You can't change lanes before the start-finish line.
So close. He just started to duck that truck to the right just a little bit, and not even half the nose outside there.
Oh, freezing! Did he catch the wall?
What about freezing? He almost hits the wall, gets sideways, still on the gas.
And you see the 71 of Shane Van Gisbergen smoking a little bit on the left front behind him as well. We'll have to keep an eye on that.
Oh, he grazed it.
Close.
Brandon Jones on the left there, and that 1 truck continuing to make moves. Oh. Stewart's still hanging on to her.
I thought that was
Oh, trouble. That's Butterbean and Chris Wright in the wall in the quad oval. And in terms of the championship picture, Butterbean came into this race about 10 points out of the top 10. He was running 22nd at the time. And Wright is burning down the house trying to get detached from that Ram as it's pinned up against the wall.
There you see the 28-year-old out of Chesapeake, Virginia, 2025 ARCA champion. He's stuck on the outside of this racetrack. Chris Wright and Butterbean coming together. Oh, just a bad move there by Chris.
Yeah, not sure if he didn't know that there was a truck to the outside. The way he, came up that racetrack, it looked like Chris Wright was trying to use the entire entire track all the way up to the wall, but there was definitely a truck, you know, that was almost door to door with him really right there. So
that's just a unexplainable move.
Well, Butterbean's teammate, Travis Pastrana, has pretty much seen everything that's happened on track today.
When in doubt, fire it up. Travis said, I got to get out of here.
Par for the course for Travis today. He's seen all of them and he's missed all of them.
Let's see if we can figure out what happened here.
Thought you said clear. I never said clear. I said outside. Still there. You said there.
Well, it appeared he said clear, but as a driver, you know, we lean on the spotters. We need the spotters. But there's situational awareness as well that you have to understand what's going on. There's just a wide move.
And Michael, you can see on this shot we're showing right now, the mirror right in the center of the cab of that truck. It's a big curved mirror. And it shows you from almost the driver's side door where you get in and out to the passenger side door where you get in and out. The way those curves are, you can definitely have references to that. And, you know, just even if he thought he heard clear and it was there, whatever the situation was, you kind of thought maybe he would know that truck was still out there in that moment.
And speaking of the spotters, and talking to Brendan Butterbean Queen on Friday, he works with Derek Nealon, who of course was a longtime spotter for Kyle Busch. In fact, Butterbean said it was around this time of year last year that him and Kyle went up to watch Derek race one of his late model events. He said it was pretty much him and Kyle the whole ride up to Maine, one of the best times he's ever had at a racetrack. Their friendship developed there, and he was hoping to have a good run with Derek today in honor of Kyle, but unfortunately it looks like with the window net coming down, his race is going to end early.
Just amazing the amount of stories through this garage area and people that...
Ricky's gotten some damage. Look at that right front fender. That's a mess. You know, we also, let's just update Connor Zilich. We talked about his restart violation. He was there, and I said he was hoping for a quick caution, and he got it.
He got what he
wanted.
wanted.
We thought we might see. He was able to come down, serve his penalty. So still got 45 laps to go. Anything can happen in this race, as we've seen. That's a dejected Butterbean, giving his guys a pat on the back for all the work.
Butterbean, who'd been on a pretty good charge so far in terms of the championship standings, was 10 points out of the top 10, needed to be above that cut line with 9 races to go in the regular season. As we look at the number 77 of Zilich, who, yes, he's going to have to fall to the tail, but at least he is able to stay on the lead lap by virtue of catching this yellow.
A lot of trucks coming to pit road again to make sure they got plenty of fuel, maybe a small adjustment. See there, the 77 is Zilich, just behind Spencer Boyd, who had some issues earlier. Boyd has remained on the lead lap despite that. Tanner Gray, we saw him charge up into the top 5. What a day. What a day, Eric.
It has been madness here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Well worth the day-and-a-half wait for a race that was supposed to run on Friday night and then got pushed off here to early Sunday morning on the biggest day of motorsports. Let's take a look at some of the highlights. The racing for the lead all day long has been incredible, and it was Christian Eckes who took stage 1.
And the battle with Christian Eckes and Lane Riggs was so much fun, and Luke Baldwin we see right here, engine expires and ends up with flames for Luke Baldwin all the way down into turns 1 and 2.
Then later on, a scary crash for the pole sitter Corey Day as the truck gets all 4 wheels off the ground and slams the inside wall, collecting Minnie Tyrell and a couple of others as he came back up in front of the pack. The battle for the lead and win in stage 2 was as intense as the racing has been pretty much all day long, and it was Lane Riggs who captured stage 2. Last time he did that, St. Pete went on to win the race there. And then Ross Chastain getting off-road.
Just spinning those tires, sliding those tires down the back straightaway, wide open. I guarantee his foot never came off of it.
And then our most recent caution, our 9th on the day. Some miscommunication between Chris Wright and his spotter, capturing Butterbean with both cars coming to rest just past the start-finish line. We've had a lot of cautions. We've had a lot of leaders. What an insane race.
We've had a lot of action. We've had a lot of crashes. We've seen it all.
And it's one of those races you just don't know where to watch. There's so much going on that's taking your eye, and the back and forth when these guys get 3 wide on the restarts and the moves that they're able to make even after they get single file running top to bottom. It just, I don't know what more you could ask for in a race. This is the kind of race that definitely keeps you on your toes, and while it's struggled to get a little bit of a rhythm, as we like to call it, to where guys can really find out what their truck does on a long run, it has been extraordinarily exciting.
You know, we talk about the 12 p.m. adverse conditions clock. I'm going to call it adverse conditions for a different reason. The way they're driving. That's what's pushing that's what's pushing us toward this 12 o'clock deadline we're having.
Well, as we find ourselves with 42 to go at the line, both of our stage winners are at the front of the field for an update on our stage 1 winner, Christian Eckes. Here's Josh.
Yeah, and we talk about Christian Eckes and the struggles he's had this season to have a dominant truck. Well, we're seeing him have one of those dominant runs. And remember, Christian Eckes is a guy that drove for Kyle Busch Motorsports back in the day. And when I talked to him about it the other day, he told me he wouldn't be where he is in his career if it weren't for KB. When he was driving for his team, he said they used to talk each and every day. They built a great relationship. He is one of those guys in the field that would love to get a win in honor of Kyle Busch.
Thanks, Josh. And just behind Eckes on the outside, another driver who drove for Kyle Busch in Chandler Smith. And as the sand starts to run out in the hourglass here, we'll remind you, 12 o'clock. If we get to that point before the finish of the advertised distance of this race, which is looking more and more likely, once the leader crosses the line after the 12 o'clock hour, the white flag will be displayed next time by. No chance at overtime.
Josh mentioned the drivers that Kyle's had an impact on, and either directly or indirectly. We were just talking about Butterbean a moment ago and the impact that Kyle had on him, and we're going to be feeling that for years to come in terms of Kyle's, what he's done for this sport from top to bottom, Cup Series truck, O'Reilly, everything. And this restart, this is about to be fun. We got some really good trucks right here that are going to battle.
So it's going to be Lane Riggs, the control truck on the inside of the 34. Christian Eckes outside in the 91. Then Ross Chastain and Chandler Smith, row 2. Daniel Hemrick, Caden Honeycutt, row 3. 41 laps to go as we race to noon here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Here we go.
Great break there by Lane on the bottom.
Not as much help, though, as sometimes we've seen.
Still going to be able to nose out ahead as they go 4 wide, of course.
Brandon Jones had to check up a little bit. That bogged down the field. Here is the battle for the lead. Eckes with a monster push from Honeycutt, trying to clear Riggs in 3 and 4. We'll see if he can slide up in front of that Ford. Got it.
I'm going to go on a limb and say that's not our final lead change.
It might not be the final lead change for this entire lap, but we might have a couple more still.
Every car happy owner, every truck, I'm going to take you 3 wide. I think that's what we're seeing tonight, this morning.
Riggs put it up on the boards, had a huge run off turn 2, but couldn't do anything with it. Now here comes Honeycutt back into the picture.
I think Lane's got the faster truck.
It's going to be a matter of if he can make that topside work, Michael. He's been battling a loose truck all day, and it just seems like he's right on the edge as to when he's able to, make that topside work and not get just a little too loose and have to correct on it.
Look just outside, just behind these 4 trucks that are battling up front. That's Ross Chastain coming into the picture. He's been able to fix some damage to that 45 truck and put himself right into the picture here. Oh,
battle
sideways.
for the lead. Riggs trying to hang on to the truck as he washes up the track. And look at the run that Honeycutt's going to have here in 3rd. Here he comes. Eckes blocks.
And Caden wanted that top side, and you see Lane able to finish that pass off, get back out to the front.
And as we watch this battle for the lead, look atop the pylon. 12 minutes plus to go. That's basically the countdown clock to when we will see 2 laps to go in this race, with the battle for the lead as intense as it's been all day. Oh, trouble. Stewart freezing around. He was running in 10th spot, and he slides across the infield grass. No caution. Race stays green.
He'll need tires. Conveniently stops right there, but this is going to end his chances at a top 10.
And Eckes, after losing some ground to Riggs the last lap by, now works the top side of 3 and 4. As they drive through the smoke that Friesen left behind.
Oh, wow, just gets loose. And around, nearly around he goes.
Similar to what happened to him a handful of laps ago where he grazed the right rear. We got problems for Andres Perez now off of turn 2. And now the caution flag flies. Caution number 10. As Andres Perez was running in the 15th spot at the time, spins off the second turn and slows this race with under 11 minutes to go.
Andres Perez off turn 2. See the 44 truck down on the bottom there. And just bounces into the corner, gets loose, tries to stay off Tanner Gray. And around he goes.
I'm not sure, Michael, that he had, we'll see if he got to the inside wall maybe here, but.
Watch him keep driving that thing, no matter what direction.
Yeah, I'm not sure that he had, I was trying to spit out, I'm not sure that he had any contact through all that. And
on the brakes, off the brakes.
Oh, so close. Left rear, right rear, they were both close.
Travis Pastrana saw himself another one.
Oh, that's so scary. You don't know where that truck is, but Travis, woo.
See Lane, looks like Lane Riggs' team right there. They probably didn't want to see that caution. They thought their guy was out front and was in a good spot to, you know, have a battle with Christian Eckes, perhaps Caden Honeycutt, and unfortunately, guys, you're gonna have to get tensed up again here in a moment.
What? How many cautions have we had today? That seems like a lot. Ah. Russell, the stat guy, 10. That's tied for the most here at Charlotte.
One more and we would set the record.
I don't think that I'm betting against that right now. I probably would take the over right now if that was our over-under.
Well, unique race circumstance here with us trying to beat the clock, if you will, down to noon. That means that we are inching closer to what is going to be a unique spot for this. We don't normally get to do this in terms of talking about time, but we are about to reach our Craftsman. 9 minutes to go at this point in the race. Don't think I've ever said that before.
Oh. Well, and also, Eric, it's been a pleasure working with you today, but for the first time in my broadcast career, I think I heard someone say, as sand flies through the hourglass. Is that what you said?
Yes. The sand is starting to run out in the hourglass.
Oh, yeah, that's beautiful.
I try to be poetic when I can, Mike.
You are.
I'm having a blast.
I thought I was watching a soap opera.
And Lane Riggs is trying to do something that hasn't been done for a handful of years. The last time that a Ford went to victory lane on a 1.5 mile racetrack in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series here back in May of 2023. That was Ben Rhodes who got the job done. Lane Riggs, for more on that driver and team, here's Amanda.
And his crew chief, Dylan Capella, just said, I'm nervous. It's restart and all out here. What's your final words to Lane ahead of this?
Yeah, I mean, just protecting those big runs. The 98's really strong. The 11's always a sleeper late in the race, and, you know, he's learning a lot of these big tracks. So it's going to take everything we got to hold these guys off. But thank you to Charlotte, UNC Charlotte, 49ers Nation, and we're going to try and get him in victory lane here.
Why Lane Riggs?
He's the best to do it, you know. He's super aggressive in these situations, and I trust him 100%. So we're going to go get it done.
Good luck.
Thank you.
And that's coming from a racer himself. Dylan, in his free time, tries to strap on the wheel of usually a pro late model, whether it be in the Carolinas or out towards the West Coast where he's from in Arizona. He certainly knows exactly what Lane is thinking as a couple of trucks hit the pit lane.
And it's so fun to hear about Lane and Dylan going to, as Grant Enfinger, one of those trucks, we see some damage to the back of his. Stuart Friesen, obviously, for the obvious reasons, back on pit lane. But it's fun to hear, you know, when you talk about Dylan and Lane, they go with each other to these late model races and hang out on the weekends, and you know, a lot of passion for that short track scene for these guys.
Yeah, and we mentioned the win that Ben Rhodes had. We're talking 3 years ago for our former champion being able to deliver the last checkered flag for the Blue Oval on a 1.5 miles, and here was how Ben did it. I think we have not seen anybody have a lead that sizable all day long today, but Rhodes waxed the field that night. And Lane Riggs is trying to get the job done for Ford here tonight as well. Also took home from that triple truck challenge back in the day, that $50,000 payday.
A lot of good things going that night for Ben Rhodes. The win, the triple truck challenge, extra money, and you know, I'll be curious to see which lane Ben picks here. We've seen him go to the top side at a number of tracks and make some magic on restarts and throughout the course of runs, and maybe he's got that opportunity to do it again.
We're coming to 1 to go. We're going to watch what Lane decides to do. I think he goes bottom.
And he does.
There you see.
Ben Rhodes, the first one to do something different. Didn't stay in the position he was in. Decided to take the outside and kind of just alluded to that. Is he going to go for it up there?
It's been an incredible way to kick off the greatest day in motorsports. Don't forget, after this race, the Indianapolis 500 is going to be kicking off at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Fox. Pre-race coverage already underway. And then, of course, later on tonight, this track will be busy with the 600 for the Cup cars. And judging by the math, it is quite possible this could be our last restart of the race. It's going to be close. And how about Connor Zilic? We talked about that penalty he got 2 cautions ago on the restart. He gained 18 spots in the last run and will restart this race in that 77 inside of row 3.
There you see, watch 45, Ross Chastain. We know what talent he has behind the wheel, and when it comes time to go for it, being able to do just that.
5 minutes to go before we hit 2 laps to go in this race.
And the bottom lane has been prevailing for the majority of this race, so Lane Riggs gets everything just right. You would expect that he can have an opportunity to clear himself off turn 2, and this is more than likely the last restart of the race right here.
And he's got his teammate right behind him. Be looking for a big push out of Chandler Smith. Go Niners.
Expecting a crazy ending to what's been a crazy race. Lane Riggs and Christian Eckes bring us to the restart with 4.5 minutes to go.
There's the push.
Honeycutt trying to get to the outside of Eckes. Eckes has to concede the run. Now Zilic 3 wide to the bottom as Riggs has control of the race with his teammate Chandler Smith behind him in second.
And that restart couldn't have gone worse for Christian Eckes as we see side by side for second place right now.
Oh, Eckes 3 wide all the way almost to the grass. And now doors his way back up into Zilic with Chastain, the 3rd truck on the top.
Lane is laser focused out the front window as you see a couple of trucks. Chastain arguing with Eckes over space. Look at Honeycutt. He's right there.
And Zilic now working to the top side of Chandler Smith for 3rd. Smith working the side draft to turn 1, not allowing Zilic to take over the spot. Now Chandler's going to try a slide job of his own, but Zilic is still there. Smith is sideways. Into the inside wall for Chandler Smith.
No caution yet.
We'll see if Chandler can drive it back around. 3 minutes left to go. Caution is out. With Lane Riggs out in front of Caden Honeycutt, racing for 3rd spot, gone bad.
Chandler doing everything he could to keep Connor Zilic from getting to the outside right there, and they got so close coming off of turn 2. We've seen it so many times today when the trucks are that close and you got wheel input put into them trying to turn further to the left. It just, man, they just go right around on you, Michael. There's nothing you can do as a driver in that aero position.
Aero tough right there. How much sand's left in the hourglass, Eric?
Probably about 2 minutes, 15 seconds worth.
Will they get this thing restarted?
And I believe that is what officials are trying to determine at this point. If they could deem the exit of turn number 2 to not need too much cleanup, verify all of the scoring, maybe we get a chance at restarting this race. I'm sure for Lane Riggs, he's hoping maybe not.
And for me, I'm hoping maybe so. I
Me
saw
as well.
so much action. I'd love to see a little bit more. I think Honeycutt has got a truck that could get this race, can take it to Lane Riggs. I said earlier, Lane's got the fastest truck. On that run there, Honeycutt was drilling them in.
Yeah, and if there's enough time to get this back going, Michael, I think the biggest challenge is going to be what happens into turn 1. You know, does he have the ability into turn 1 to stay on that door? As we see the replay here, and Chandler just tries to carry it up the track, and Connor's already there. And at that point, the spotter's saying outside, outside, outside really intensely to him, and he tries to grab a little more wheel and check up to not get up into him.
He was just trying to trying to swing ahead of him and just didn't have room to do so.
And that's just aggressive racing at the end of the race. Or, you know, you're trying to get every inch, and you know that if that guy gets to your outside, your chances of catching the 2 trucks in front of you are probably very limited, and you're taking every inch that you possibly can right there.
And that air, it just sucked him around when that other truck got to his outside.
So a tough break for the Daytona winner on the season. And problems for Ross Chastain, who has come to a stop in 3 and 4.
Looks like he's going to get a push back to pit road in pretty short order here.
This caution, number 11, is going to set the record for most cautions in a NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race here at Charlotte.
You had to know that was coming, right? That's a record for sure that was going to go down today the way these guys have been going at it. This is what happens when you got to wait 3 days to race, right?
You get ramped up. You got all that energy. You've been pinned up and cooped up waiting for it.
Well, don't forget, 12:30 p.m., the biggest day in motorsports continues on over on Fox for the green flag of the Indianapolis 500. And then, of course, later on tonight here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, the Coca-Cola 600 to cap off one of the best days of the year.
Ah, what a day. Right here on Fox all day long.
That's
All right, we just received official word. Next time around, Lane Riggs will see the white flag under caution with Honeycutt and Zilich the top 3.
Good, I can sit down.
Damn it, I'm proud of you, boys. Hell yeah.
He deserves it. It doesn't matter that it's going to end under caution. The rules are what they are. At 12 o'clock, the teams knew the race would be over. That's the way the rule is written. And NASCAR goes by the rule book, and the truck that was the fastest all day long, if he can run another lap and a half, Regan, I wouldn't even count on that right now with all the action we've seen. But it looks like it's going to work out for Lane Riggs.
I feel like the chances are better at the pace they're running right now, Michael, that he's going to be able to find his way back around here. And, you know, you see Dylan Capello with the smiles right now on top of the pit box. And, you know, it didn't come easy either. They did have some handling issues with that 34 truck of Lane Riggs. They were loose all day long, had to work on it, try to make it a little bit better. And we saw early on in the race him sideways a number of times.
You got that right. And like sands through the hourglass, he's going to come past the start-finish line. This is one of those days of your lives.
If this was an episode of Friends, I guess that would be the show title for this thing, huh? White flag in the air for Lane Riggs. And let's take a listen to the communication in that 34 truck.
Did it for Kyle, man. Did it for Kyle.
Oh, that's touching. I think that says it so well, the emotion, the sentiment of the weekend, and just how much Kyle Busch meant to this sport. And personally, you know, these kids we get to see, Regan, they grew up watching Kyle Busch dominate, win races, take bows, and you know, a lot of them, I grew up watching Richard Petty, and Kyle Busch it's the same for these kids that are here now watching Kyle Busch dominate and do the things that he did.
Michael, there's not a driver in this field. There's not a driver in motorsports that in some way Kyle didn't impact them in some shape or form, and you could hear that right there in Lane Riggs' voice and the emotion, and you know, just such a special driver and such a special individual.
That's the two guys of the 2026 season there in the Truck Series that have just been better than the rest most all year long. Lane and Caden, and they're going to go 1-2 today.
And as he comes to the line on an emotional weekend at Charlotte Motor Speedway, Lane Riggs is going to win his second race of 2026, 7th of his career, and he did it for Kyle. Ninth different winner in the last 9 races at Charlotte Motor Speedway for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. 15th different driver to win at Charlotte. And for Lane Riggs, who's from nearby Bahama, North Carolina, able to give this team a chance to celebrate with the Kyle Busch bow.
And how else but with the bow, and nice job by his team there to honor Kyle Busch as well, as we saw the video of all the bows earlier in the day, and wow.
Imagine this is the biggest win of this young man's life, being able to win here at his home track with his alma mater on the side of the truck, and doing it for Kyle. This is a lot. This is a lot that I guarantee Elaine is inside of that truck trying to process right now.
Lane also becomes the 3rd driver with multiple wins this season. The other 2 are defending champion Corey Heim and Kyle Busch.
Well, he led the most laps today. He executed when it all mattered. And he's going to get to take a bow.
Only has to drive about 2 hours to get back home to Bahama, North Carolina, where he started off his racing career, continuing to follow in the footsteps of his father, Scott, who also had much success in the Truck Series. And this is now his 3rd consecutive year in trucks, with a multiple win season for Lane Riggs.
A couple of other guys up inside that top 5 that had days they really needed. Ben Rhodes, 4th. Gio Ruggiero, we saw some strategy for him. He was able to get a top 5.
Connor Zillich had the finish in 3rd, had the penalty. What was it? 10 laps ago, it seemed like.
Well, the Front Row Motorsports crew, who helped propel Lane to victory, is there to meet him on the front stretch victory lane in front of the fans who've come out to Charlotte on this early morning change of schedule. And what has been a very tough day for the NASCAR community, tough few days for the NASCAR community. Lane Riggs and company will have something to celebrate. To Josh.
Lane Riggs gets the win here at Charlotte. Gets a chance to celebrate with the team. And of course, we saw him do the Kyle Busch signature bow as he honored one of the NASCAR legends we lost a couple of days ago. And you can see the emotion on Lane's face. Lane, we heard you come over the radio and say this one is for Kyle. You do the signature bow. The expressions are all over your face. Can you tell me why this one means so much?
I hope you'd be proud of that performance. Just our hearts are really heavy this weekend, and just been trying to kind of struggling with it a little bit, and just trying to have my game face on and right. But these guys are nothing but put a smile on my face. Great job to everybody at Front Row Motorsports. Thank you so much to my teammate Chandler Smith. We had a little teammate restart there, and he stuck with me and pushed me. So super proud of him and the strong performance that we had today. This is a track that FRM and the 34 and 38 have struggled at for years. Always been like a 5th to 10th place truck, and we really got to it on the Ford Racing Simulator. Shout out to Ford Racing, everything y'all do for us. And we went to work and we got it done. So yeah, brand new truck, debut 1 for 1. Really proud of that. So just thinking about the whole family right now. Had UNC Charlotte on the truck right down the road. Go Niners, put Niners in victory lane. I'm so proud of that with the gold numbers. So thank you to everybody at UNC Charlotte. Man, what a win. I hate that we didn't get to finish all the laps, but I feel like we put on a heck of a race. Hopefully all these fans right here are really happy. Thank you to everybody that's here and your support. Love you guys.
Lane Riggs, your winner at Charlotte.